Wow, what a great moment. And Gabby Thomas, it is wonderful for you to see that again. You experienced it, but some of these things, some of these achievements, you can't see them enough. Every time you see them, you notice something different. And Gabby, I'll say before I give you the stage, I gotta give you one of those James Brown intros because you deserve it. Just a great intro. A lot of times we'll talk about, hey, somebody having the intelligence and the athletic ability, but you are a true scholar, a true athlete, Harvard graduate,
Putting us to shame.
bronze medalist. And at the U.S. Olympic trials, we kind of left this part out. U.S. Olympic trials, you had the third fastest time ever in the 200 meters. So, Gabby, thanks for joining us. And my first question for you is, what's your reaction when you see that clip that we just showed?
I just got butterflies again watching that clip. And I actually, candidly, I hate watching myself run. I hate watching myself on TV. So I don't actually seek to go out and look at those clips. So that was one of the few times that I've actually seen it. So to watch it again, it just made me feel all of those emotions all over again. And I just can't stop smiling because the announcer was right. I couldn't believe what I had seen. I wasn't sure if I actually had gotten third, if I actually got the bronze medal. So I just kept looking back at the board like, is this real? I was looking over at my coach and I was like, is this really happening? And it was. So yeah, the moment was really, really just special.
Why do you hate watching
I
yourself
always
run?
wonder about the. Oh no, go ahead, Mike. Yeah, you're right.
I just wanted to follow up that. Why do you hate watching yourself run?
That's a good question.
It makes me feel nervous. I just remember all the feelings and the nerves that went into it. And then just watching myself and critiquing myself. It brings so many emotions that it just makes me feel kind of nervous all over again. And I'm also so critical about it. I'm like,
okay.
what if I've done this better? I should have done this better. And you go down the rabbit hole. So I just don't do it.
Okay, so it's not that you don't enjoy the sight of it, because I don't like the sound, contrary to popular opinion, I don't like the sound of my own voice. But it's not one of those things where you don't like how you look.
I don't believe that.
You're just such a perfectionist until it just, right, Michael, touche. You're such a perfectionist until it kind of it drives you bananas, I take it. Sorry, we're showing it again. Hope you don't mind.
No, you're okay. It's okay because this one ended well. But yeah, it's exactly like that. It's like a perfectionist thing. And it's similar to when I hear myself speak too. I'm just like, oh gosh, why do I sound like that? And why am I saying that? But it's just watching yourself over again. But this one ended well, so I'm okay with watching this one. It makes me happy.
What was I'm always curious about this, Gabby, from athletes. We're on the outside looking in. Even if we're in the stadium or watching on TV, we're still outsiders looking in. We have our own interpretation and analysis. While you were in that race, what were some of your thoughts? Did you think, hey, I didn't start well, or I got it, or I feel great? Like, what were some of the things you were thinking halfway through and right at the photo finish?
Well, halfway through, those last 50 meters there, you can see it's such a close race. I was thinking, I cannot leave this race without a medal. And that's all I was thinking right there. I have to pass Shelley. I know the Namibian runner had a really strong finish, so I knew that was going to be a medalist. So I was like, I have to get across the line. My coach had told me just before I stepped out there into the call room to just stay relaxed. And no matter what I do, stay relaxed. And so that kind of composure and discipline really came into those last 30 meters. And I was thinking, gotta relax and I'll get the medal. And that's what I did. And I went through, but that was it. I was like, I cannot leave here without having a medal. And that's all I was thinking.
Well, that
came all this way.
Not pass over the fact,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's not pass over the fact that you passed Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, which is no small feat. We were just admiring the 10.6 she put up in the 100 last night, third fastest 100-meter time ever. I wonder when you're lining up. And at the trials, you were a lane over from your childhood idol, Allison Felix. But when you're in the Olympic 200 final and you're lining up against Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and so on, like what did they bring out of you in this race competing against the Jamaicans, the world's best?
I mean, well, if I've learned anything, it's always been that I am a competitor and that, I'm not going to count myself out. So being lined up against those girls was amazing, and they are my idols. But it also gave me the sense that I belong here and I belong in this race, and I'm lining up with the best because I am one of the best. And I know my strengths. I know their strengths. And so I just kind of remembered that and thought about that throughout the race. But it does bring out a different level of competition. And it's like a zone that, you get into as an athlete that you never really feel and other people don't really feel. You get to the line and you have the best in the world next to you. And all you're thinking about is how to compete. And that's kind of what it brings out into in me, at least. Just this zone that you get in where you're like, nobody can beat me. I'm going to put it all on the line. And that's what it was. And it's really cool. I mean, you just kind of like black out and then, and then just, you're so driven to get to the finish line. And I knew that I would have to bring my A game and bring it all if I was going to line up against, especially the Jamaicans. So that's what I did.
I'd love to know what kind of zone you were in at the trials. We mentioned earlier, 21.61, third fastest time in 200-meter history. And look, far be it from me to nitpick. I'm just going off of what the analyst mentioned. You raise your arms, understandably so, in celebration at the end, might have been, a fraction faster than 21.61, which was blazing. I mean, your name's above Marion Jones and right below Flojo and Elaine Thompson-Herah, who put up that 21.53 early this year. Can you kind of walk us through the trials and that 21.61 you put up there?
Yeah, I mean, that was, I think, the first time that I've ever felt such a competitive edge and entered that zone that I had never been in before. U.S. Olympic trials are incredibly nerve-wracking. I mean, it's the hardest team to make, especially across the sprints, because we're so deep in the sprints. And for anyone who knows track, you were not making that team unless you ran 21 point, which I think is the first time that's ever happened, and it was crazy. But that's just what I had to bring to make the team. And I was determined to make the team. Yeah, I did raise my hands in celebration a little bit early during the race, but there's so much momentum coming off of that 200 that I can't imagine it took too much time off, maybe, 100th of a second or around there. But the emotions that I was feeling, I was so excited. I couldn't even think about that. I knew that I had made the team. I knew that I was coming across the line first as a national champion. I had no idea that the time was going to be that fast. So maybe had I known, I was running a record time, I wouldn't have done that. And I would have tried to see how fast I could go. But at the time, all I could think was, oh, I'm a national champion, and I just made my first Olympic team. And there are no words to describe how happy and elated I was feeling. So it just kind of happened. I had pictured it so many times.
You can tell.
Yeah, I had pictured it so many times, and it was actually happening. And I was just so proud. So sometimes you just can't control it.
I'm sure you were like us. I probably asked our producers to play it like 10 or 12 or 15 times. Elaine Thompson-Herah, when she set her 10.54 world record, and we're just looking at it, just amazed at her technique and how she finished. There are three of us here, and one of us has competed against Elaine Thompson-Herah. What is that like? Well, two questions. What is that like to compete against her? And what did you think of her performance specifically in the pre?
At Prefontaine?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So competing against Elaine, so this was actually my first time competing against Elaine. And normally, you see these girls at so many other meets, which is funny about the Olympics, because we actually all compete against each other throughout the year and every other year. But when it's time for the Olympics, it's like, oh, everyone's like lined up together, but we see each other all year. But Elaine is one person that I had not seen all year, and I had not competed against her. So it was really cool and a learning experience to see how she competes and how she runs. She has it all. She gets out. She has that top end speed, the speed endurance. So when I line up against Elaine, I know that I'm going to have to be completely dialed in the entire race and just bring my A game. The way Elaine runs is outstanding. It's remarkable. It's, unlike anything I've ever seen. She just, like I said, she has it all. And her performance at Pre was phenomenal. It was such a highly anticipated race. I think the entire world stopped to watch that 100-meter race And it brings so much attention to women's sports, which I love. And she executed and she did that. I mean, she did the thing. Elaine is an outstanding runner, especially to be 35 years old and doing this and having that consistency. It's unbelievably impressive. So hats off to Elaine, an amazing competitor. And I look forward to racing her again. Hopefully I have the chance to do that.
You said
Hey,
the
where are
whole
your medals?
world was watching. Yeah. What's that, Mike?
Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to step on you. You go ahead, Mike. You had a follow up. Go ahead.
No, I was just my question. You said the whole world was watching that race, and I was looking forward to it. So was Mike. We talked about it on the Friday before that race. Were you looking forward to it for a particular reason? We know all the storylines that went into that, and what has happened subsequently. But why were you paying attention to it?
Of course, I was looking forward to it to watch the runoff between Sha'Carri and the Jamaicans. I mean, it's been so highly anticipated for so long. We missed out on it at the Olympics, which was still a phenomenal Olympic 100-meter final. But just to have all eyes on a Diamond League track event was really exciting. A lot of people don't normally tune in to track and field post-Olympics, so to have people actually paying attention and really excited to see something entertaining in track and field was really cool. And I knew that a really crazy fast time was going to come from that race. I think we all did. So, and Elaine really did that. I mean, she proved herself, she came, she showed up, and especially to come back from Tokyo and do that is really, really challenging. And she did. So it was really cool to watch.
Yeah. I was asking, where are your medals?
They're actually sitting over there.
What'd you do with them? Oh, okay.
Well,
like, do you just walk past them every morning?
Yeah, I just walk by them every morning. Yeah, I just
stop for a second.
Yeah, just cool. Hey, I did that.
Right. I mean, because even when we were introducing you, I was just like, man, do we start with Harvard grad, epidemiologist, and two-time medalist, or two-time medalist and Harvard grad and epidemiologist? Like, it's like, I start off by saying, you're putting all us to shame. I would love to know, like, what are your goals? Like, what's next for you? Like, what are you, what are you striving for at this point? Because you've done more in, your short life than most people do in a lifetime.
Well, it's crazy because it just feels so normal for me. I mean, even training for the Olympics, I've been doing it for so long now. It's been a couple of years since I moved to Austin, Texas and started training. And, I've been putting in so much work every single day, and to see it just actually happen and to have it, it just feels like, I've been working for everyone sees it now, but this has been my life for the last couple of years now. So I'm just happy to have the medals to show for all that work that I put in. And with everything else, I mean, it's kind of like I just do what I feel like doing. I do what I like to do. And it just happens. It's really, really awesome to see people recognizing it and get to share my story and my narrative. But I'm just going to continue to do what I'm passionate about. And I have another year left of grad school, getting my master's in public health, specifically epidemiology. And the goal was to kind of, do this track thing and then go work and go into the workforce. Ideally, I wanted to run my own nonprofit one day, run my own hospital. But now I'm thinking that I might be in this track game a little bit longer than I had anticipated before. So now, I mean, I'm going to be going for a gold medal. I'm going to continue school. I'm going to go for an Olympic gold, and then we'll take it from there, and we'll just do what I like to do, and I'm going to have fun with it. And that's just how I'm navigating my
smiling. I'm smiling because it's like this track thing.
Probably for the same reason.
It's like, I love that. Yeah. It's like,
right.
Your side gig, you're pretty good at your side hustle. You know what I mean? No, but I do wonder, though. I mentioned Allison Felix earlier, and, having read up on it and the interviews you did with your mom and so on and so forth, how, watching Allison Felix when you were a young girl, inspired your mom to inspire you, and obviously now you're competing against her. I wonder, since you've gained more national prominence, like, have you had any encounters or heard any stories with young girls or anybody, or even young men for that matter, that you've inspired, that looked at you and saw, hey, look at this amazing student athlete, Harvard graduate, master's degree in epidemiology and two-time medalist. Have you already seen some of the fruits of your labor in terms of the next generation, the way Allison Felix did for you?
Yeah, actually I have. And that's one of the best parts about it too, right? It's just knowing that I'm inspiring younger girls, and like you said, probably younger men too, to just follow their passion and do what they want to do. I mean, to be around Allison, to be competing against Allison it's so surreal to me, because I just feel like I was so young when I first saw her on TV, and then I was actually on a team with her. So to imagine that I'm kind of doing anything similar, remotely similar to what Allison had done for me, it's a crazy feeling, and I love it. And I hope that what I'm doing does inspire people to kind of follow in similar footsteps, to do what you're passionate about, do what feels right for you. Going to Harvard, that's not a track school, but track and field worked out because I was doing what I love to do. So everyone's journey is going to be a little bit different, and as long as you're doing what feels right for you, then everything should work out and you should find success in that. So I'm hoping that people are learning that and seeing that through me, and hopefully living that in their own lives.
All right, on the flip side, who is your coolest new fan that you've gained since this rise to stardom? Yeah, who's the coolest person? Like, oh, I didn't know you were peeping me. I didn't know you knew who I was, type thing.
Oh gosh, I don't even know. Ashton Kutcher was really cool for me. That one, I was really fangirling over that one. Kerry Washington, I've always been a huge Olivia.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, Kerry. Oh my God, it's been really cool to see people, reaching out and knowing who I am. I'm like, wow. Cool. Yeah, with those two for sure.
Sorry to make a name drop there, but just curious about this journey. You know what I mean?
We asked for it. We asked for it.
Yeah.
No, that's
so
been unreal.
I mean, that's amazing. Like the stories, like you have Allison Felix, the hero, your hero from childhood. You get to compete against her and become friendly with her. Kerry Washington, Olivia Pope. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I mean, so many
right.
people.
I mean, look,
but I would
not
ask
an overnight success, but a lot of people getting familiar. That's
right.
for sure.
Look, Gabby, it's too late. It's too late for you to help us get into the Ivy League. Okay, that's not going to happen for us. Okay, we've dealt with it. But how about this? You just said flat out, okay, I'm going to be in track a little bit longer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I thought about opening a hospital, but I'm going to do it. So you have the ability to have multiple things going on at once. Give us a tip. Mike and I need this. Give us a tip or two about time management. What should we be looking at that we're not looking at? What should we be doing that we're not doing?
Oh God, yeah. Time management was a hard skill I had to learn at Harvard. I struggled for the first couple of years, honestly. But then I just realized that if you make time for what you feel like doing, so find things that you want to do, and then you will make time for it. And it's really that simple. If you don't like what you're doing, you're going to struggle to, find the time and manage it. But that's really all it is. I do what I want to do when I feel like doing it. So that includes school readings, that includes homework, that includes track practice, that includes lift, that includes everything. It's just really that simple. And much of the time,
do what you want to do when you want to do it, or just do it. Just do the things you want to do.
Makes it sound easy.
It really is that simple. It's that simple, but
okay.
Speaking of track practice, I'd love to know more about the Buford Bailey Track Club, like some of the inside stories. This group of Black women, gold medalists that train together down in Texas. Can you kind of take us inside that sisterhood? That iron sharpens iron environment.
Yeah, I mean, so I left Boston because I wanted to give myself a great chance to make this Olympic team. And I wanted to put myself in an environment where I knew, I would be able to do that. And so when I found Coach Bailey, I met her in Europe on a circuit. And she had just this really great energy about her. At the time, I didn't even know that she had a professional training group. I didn't even know she had her own bronze Olympic medal. And then, I just started meeting the other girls, Marla Kay Kinnison and Ashley Spencer, and I realized that they all trained together down in Austin, and they were so accomplished, and I knew about their accomplishments. And I went to go visit them in Austin, Texas, and see how they train, and to see how they push each other every day, and each day you have to be on point. And then when I moved down there and started training with them, I realized how true that was. I mean, I couldn't go to practice and give 75%, or else I would just get beat. It would, it'd be embarrassing. And so having that every single day and having that mentality and being in that environment and having it be like a supportive environment too, was just so helpful. I don't think I would be where I am right now if I didn't put myself in that environment. And also just that comfort level of being around other Black women who have high goals and aspirations, was really comforting in itself, and not feeling like I have to dim my light or, feel uncomfortable about how crazy my goals were because they had the same ones, was really, really helpful. So yeah, that being in that group was just a blessing for me. And having that coach is also a blessing for me, who knows what it takes. Just so many heart to hearts, so many long conversations about what I need to do and what my lifestyle needs to be, to get to this point. And she was just spot on with everything. So it was a great fit.
Yeah.
So I didn't include this in the intro. I said scholar, I said athlete, Olympian. I didn't mention spokesperson. You're also a spokesperson, and you're going to tell me how I can improve my game here, because I like drinking soda, maybe a little too much. But you're going to tell me that I can drink a soda that I don't have to feel guilty about. Let's hear about it.
That's exactly right. Well, yeah, I came across Olipop through my media team, actually, World's Greatest. And it ended up just being like a perfect fit. I had one Zoom conversation with them, and to actually realize how much they genuinely care about people's health. And they have like leading human gut microbiome research scientists actually studying it. It just felt so authentic. Which is something that I really appreciated. I'm very passionate about my health and other people's health, and actually taking care of yourself, and how there goes my pug Rico.
She got a pug, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're a pug family. We're a pug family. We got 3 pugs.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh yeah, I'm
Yes.
such a pug. Yeah, Rico's hanging out over there. But yeah, just taking care of your health and how your gut health actually has so much to do with your mental health too. So it was such a perfect fit. And I love soda, but I had to cut soda out of my diet. I had to cut it off. So the fact that I have this, sparkling tonic that basically tastes like soda, and supports everything that I stand for as a public health person and as an epidemiologist, it was such a perfect fit. And they had me sold in the first conversation. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Olipop. It just,
Well, I'm sold.
Everything I stand for.
Well, I'm sold. And speaking of cutting off, we could talk to you all day. We're going to cut ourselves off out of respect for your time management and your schedule. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Congratulations just on everything. Two-time medalist, bronze and silver from Tokyo, and a 200 in the relay. Harvard grad, epidemiologist, world changer in the making. So thank you so much.
Spokesperson and pug owner.
Spokesperson.
Wow.
Yes.
Come on.
Dog mom.
Yes.
Rico.
Getting it done. Gabby Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.